just when you thought you were out, I pull you back in with the latest installment of the low effort, lower budget NBP show. And as always, I'm your host, Daltmick, bringing you the dramatic conclusion to Week 8 of Season 5. Playoff spots were undecided until the very last whistle of the season. The very last game played had major implications on it, and we'll get to that game. But first, we have to continue the media bias of the show in the best conference in not only the AFC, but also the entire NBP. That is Tar and Feather Division. And we're going to start out with yours truly versus Joe's Imaginations. This is a game that had implications. Don't get me wrong. Joe's Imaginations could easily knock out the Badass Women's Association from the playoffs in this game, but that did not happen. The game was played at the deadline, like as soon as the week started. We got this game out of the way early, and Bawa made quick work of the Goblins 2-0 and secure a playoff spot. But will it be Tar and Feather, or will it be Wild Card? Dr. J will give us a rundown of those wild cards at the end of the show, as always. But I'll go ahead and spoil mine, just because it's yours truly. I took the AFC wild card spot. I'm not happy about it, but I'll go further into that later. Now, we go with Shushnik's Night of the Living Dread, a former Proving Grounds champion, versus Go Dogs, Sicko Man, the Gordia Bulldogs. Bulldogs here needed a win, maybe even at least a draw to avoid relegation here, but it did not happen. A win would have saved them, but they just could not edge one out in a 1-0 defeat against the Living Dread. Oh man, it's kind of sad to see such a great coach get relegated down to the Proving Ground. That's where he may end up next season, depending on how coaches sign up and such. But it's looking like he'll be a Proving Grounds coach next season. I've enjoyed having you here in Tar and Feather to Dogs, and I hope you climb back up out of the Proving Grounds, as we saw is very, very possible here. But Night of the Living Dread do secure Tar and Feather Division, and in fact, pretty much first place overall. I think second place just due to SPP. They ended up first place of the entire AFC. But that is all for Tar and Feather. Now, over to Deep Dark Division. 2 wild card hopefuls, a sinking ship, and terrible ghouls. Bort versus Tons of Fun. Both of these teams need a win, but they somehow managed to come up with a 2-2 draw each. Seeing as I've already ruined the suspense of the wild card on this side of the pitch, we could see that the draw hurt them both. It's quite unfortunate to see Bort missing the playoffs once again, and also quite unfortunate to see the Terrible Ghouls not able to grab another win here. Both of these teams missing out, and it's heartbreaking for both, I know. Now, on up in the Deep Dark Division, we have the former 2-time champion in Demented with his Cannibal Corps taking on the Villains DC from Blue Six Max. Blue Six Max was another wild card hopeful, there at the end of the season, but the season just did not shape up to be the way he foresaw it, as the Cannibal Corps take a 1-0 victory. I think they already had this spot decided coming into the game. Unfortunately, I think last episode we already said that he was going. Now, on down the line, we have the Saltworks Division, a very, very popular division here with such great coaches. This is the one that came down to the very, very line. Now, it would not be this game, the Kitchen Raiders versus Johnny's Rottens, but both of these teams were neck and neck to not only take Saltworks or a wild card. That's how this division was looking. It looked like somebody was going to end up with a wild card and the division, but that did not happen. It could have happened. There was a weird concoction of ways that it could have happened, but it did not. But the Kitchen Raiders come out 2-1, grabbing a much-needed victory at the very end of the season that puts them in playoff talks because they were just that close to winning Saltworks division. One more point, 2 more points. It was so close. This is the game that came down to the wire, however. 2-time champion Midway and the Zorn Ooze Cool Zealots taking on the gorgeous ladies of Blood Bowl. Another Amazon team. I was cheering on the Amazons in our sisterhood, but the cheering was just not enough as they only scored 1 touchdown to the Zealots 2. So, once again, we have former 2-time champion Demented and former 2-time champion Midway going in to the playoffs once again, and I think they're going to face each other. That's going to be brutal to have 2 former champions going head-to-head this early because you already know one of them is going to be eliminated. That's so suspenseful for both of them, I know, but that's going to make amazing Blood Bowl action for all of you coaches here. But yes, that one came down to the wire. A draw or a loss would have saw Midway missing the playoffs and the Kitchen Raiders taking that spot. But man, was it ever so close. That's one of the closest divisions I've seen here in NBP before. And speaking of the Bulldogs, I hate to pick on them once again, but this is a stat I have for the show. The most losses this season actually is to the relegated team, the Gorgia Bulldogs. We had a team right below him who had 6 losses, I believe, but that is the most losses this season with 7. Unfortunately so. Now we'll move on over to the NFC side of things. We have Ancient Empires and Dinosaurus Rex versus Stormstad Silverhorde. This is a game that didn't have much riding on it. Both of these teams were pretty much eliminated, and we ended up with a 2-1 win, actually, for the Silverhorde. Unfortunately, Dinosaurus Rex and Burzo are former Proving Grounds champions, but they said that they will not be with us next season, unfortunately. That's quite unfortunate to see them going, but we'll fill that spot. Absolutely, we'll be at full steam for Season 6. We very much hope to see you coming back, though, Burzo. Hope you change your mind. Now, we have Warp Firestones, last year's finalists, taking on, the boys, a show favorite, if you will. I think everybody loves the boys. I don't think anybody hates this team from Blake Nuts. That was Rocky is Back versus Blake Nuts there with the Warp Firestones, who already secured their division last week. The boys, I think, were just vying for a card at this point, and they just could not get it, and it was a 2-1 victory for the Stones, who are going to march on and see the first round of the playoffs. That should help their seeding just a bit there, with the better ranking. So now, over to Beheaded Kings. This division was already locked up. This game didn't have a whole lot of riding on it. I believe one of these teams is wildcard hopeful. Again, Dr. J will run down all of those wild cards at the end of the show. So we have the Lauren Rockets, coached by Coach Pong Hines, a coach we spoke about several times this season, just missing the playoffs, though, even though he was that close to a wild card. Lauren Rockets take a 2-1 victory against Scarface Scavengers V2, but it just wasn't enough. Now, on to the Super Street Fighter L's, coached by Afro Chef. First place overall in the league, just on SBP, I believe. And that was actually a 1-1 draw against Josiah Frost's Game of Gnomes. That's They have pulled off some amazing draws this season. In fact, most of our stunty teams have. I've really enjoyed seeing the stunty teams here in NBC. They were not fully in competition, but they did pull some crazy spoiler games, and this is one of them. Even though Beheaded Kings was already decided by Afro Chef last week, just running away with the points there, this was still an exciting game to watch because it didn't really hurt the elves to take this draw, but it really, really helped the gnomes, the halflings to do so. But yes, that's a 1-1. So, on to the final NFC division. That is the Old World, and we have the Rainforest Queens versus the Fun Guys. Rainforest Queens tend to, they led Old World like all season it seemed, but they just could not, you know, they're in the very last. They went on a slide and their lead was in jeopardy. This could very well save them a 2-1 victory against the Fun Guys. Another team that's actually the second most losses was from the Fun Guys with 6. They were very, very close to relegating and probably would be relegated if we had one on that side. But that was it. Rainforest Queens in a 2-0 victory there. Now, we have Boom Boom Shake the Room and the Grim Reaping Institute. Dr. J against Wheelie. We spoke about Wheelie a lot on this show as well. And Boom Boom Shake the Room. But the Grim Reaping Institute could not hold off the Orc Assault, and a 2-1 victory would come out for Boom Boom Shake the Room, who sees themselves securing Old World Division and earning that playoff spot. So, not gonna fully spoil the NFC wild card and ruin my man Dr. J's segment, because he's gonna give you a much more detailed rundown of who was neck and neck there at the very last, and just missing the playoffs. But we have first place in AFC, Coach Shushnik with Night of the Living Dread. Then we have second place, yours truly, Daltnick and the Badass Women's Association, and second place. Now, in AFC, we have, from Deep Dark Division, we have third place, which is former 2-time champion Demented and the Cannibal Corps. And then in fourth place, just making the playoffs. I should say that I just made the playoffs, considering that I have the wild card spot, but I was second place, so I will be very, very biased here and say that the Zorn Ooze Cool Zealots are fourth place in Midway. So that's your top 4 in the AFC going on to the Knuckle Challenge Series. Now, we have the NFC side of things. That is first place overall, Super Street Fighter Elves and Afro Chef coming from Beheaded Kings. Now second place out of Ancient Empires, Rocky is back and the Warpfire Stones going on to the playoff. Then, as I already mentioned, Old World Division, third place overall, Boom Boom Shake the Room, Wheelie 365 coming out of the NFC. And then the wild card is to be decided. I only spoiled the wild card again just because I'm in it on the AFC side, but I will not spoil the NFC side of things because it was very, very close. I mean, several of those teams I mentioned and said were wild card hopefuls potentially have the wild card. Dr. J, again, will decide that later on. But I want to move on to a very special segment, since this is the last episode of the season. Regular season, I should say. There'll probably be postseason stuff. But this is the Stunty Award. I'm going to start out with the third-ranked Stunty team, just because we only had 3, but our third-place Stunty team was the Fun Guys, with a total record of 1-1-6. Very, very tough record, but, you know, that's sometimes to be expected when you play Goblins in a league. Now, up to Game of Gnomes, our second-place Stunty team. 2-2-4 was their final record, and, you know, just missing that first-place Stunty team. But the first-place Stunty team is Joe's Imaginations, coached by Knockout Joe. Total record of 2-3-3. So, I will again continue the media bias of the show and say Tar and Feather is the best division just because we've not only produced the first place team in the AFC, the second place in the AFC, but also the best stunty team in the league. The competition doesn't get much tougher than Tar and Feather. There's a few. But again, it's the media bias of the show. It's my favorite conference since I named it and all. But the Stunties putting a good showing here at NBP. We love having them. Maybe we'll see a few next season, or maybe we'll see those Stunty coaches moving on. But I will say that to all those Stunty coaches, you do have an open invitation to Lustria's Stunty Federation Cup that will happen later on in the postseason sometime. Would definitely love to have these great stunty coaches in that. Now, another award that I have not done, but this is a most SPP award, and that is the Warp Firestones. The Warp Firestones do have the most SPP by only a difference of one, and that is 135 total SPP against a sinking ship and Borbot's team with 134. So again, the difference of just one SPP is the most SPP. But we'll give Rocky the praise for that of, returning to the playoffs again in his second season and then, getting most SPP. That's a great award. Now, speaking of the Warp Firestones, once again, they have the most wins this season. They're the only team with 6 wins, so they get the title. Several teams with 5, but they were the only ones to get the prestigious 6. Still not quite a total of 8. I don't think it's been very few and in between that we've had an 8-win team. So that's still quite a feat there with 6 total wins. Getting them a very good place in the playoffs. As for AFC, NFC Coach of the Week, I have not done that yet, but I'll just go ahead and AFC Coach of the Week does have to be Shushnik and the Night of the Living Dread. I mean, a 1-0 victory that relegates a team, secures Tar and Feather Division, secures first place in AFC, secures second place overall in the league. That's a very, very hard repertoire to compete against. I have to give it to the Night of the Living Dread. He was first coach of the first half of the season as well, I believe, and finishing very strong here. Now, the NFC Coach of the Week, I'm kind of doing this on the fly. I really wanted to give it to Afro Chef in the 1-1 draw there, kind of offset things. Really wanted to give it to the Warp Firestones, but we've talked about them a lot. It almost goes without saying that we have to give it to the Warp Firestones, and that's only because most SPP, second place in NFC overall, most wins with that last win, securing their 6th win. It's really hard to give it to anybody else. Maybe the Rainforest Queens securing that 2-0 victory, but the quality of win was just too much for the Stones. This episode is the official Warp Firestones episode, I guess. We spoke about them a lot, but they deserve it because they played the hardest of some of these teams out here, and this is the results we got. So, without further ado, I've pretty much used up all my time here. Let's get an idea of how the wild card played out, and for one of the final segments of the show of Week 8, before we go on the postseason, I'm going to send it over to Dr. J for the wild card rundown. Thanks, Dr. J.
Hey there, coaches. This is Fantastic Dr. J, and I'm here to give you the rundown of the wild card winners. We are here at the end of season 5. And what a season it has been. It's been an edge of the seat season. We've had divisional leaders change positions over the last 3 weeks of the season, and therefore keeping the wild cards hopefuls changing around, not knowing who it's going to be. But I'm here to give you the rundown now of who could have made it and who did make it. So without further ado, I'm here to give you the AFC rundown to start with, and in 3rd place we have Borbot's A Sinking Ship, finishing in 3rd place wildcard hopeful spot with 8 points. The team that was doing extremely well in the season and has only just missed out on a chance in the Nuffle Challenge series. So maybe next season. Moving on to the second spot, just didn't quite make it. Was DK's the Kitchen Raiders, I believe another Skaven team, just pipping Boar to second position, but not quite scraping the wild card this season, I'm afraid. So maybe next season for you too. And moving on to the wild card winner of season 5, moving through to the Nuffle Challenge series, is Dolmic's Badass Women Association with 12 points. It wasn't as close as it could have been in the AFC, as Dol stormed out there into the lead with 12 points to secure that wild card spot. Well done, Dolmic. Moving over to the NFC, and we have an even closer running for the wildcard spot. Sitting in third position on, I believe, 8 points was Komikozi's Stormstad Silver Horde. Not quite getting enough points there to secure a wildcard spot, so again, maybe next season. Moving over to the second position, a much talked about coach this season is Coach Pong Hines with his Lauren Rockets. The Wood Elves not quite enough points to make it through to the Nuffle Challenge series in season 5 this time, but a definite coach to keep an eye out on because of the amount of times he was mentioned this season is probably more than any other coach. Which takes us on to our NFC wildcard winner of season 5, and it is the Old World's Jonah 2005 UK with his Rainforest Queens. Finished the season just shy of the top spot in a very close race in the Old World, but didn't quite win the league, but did manage to secure that wild spot. Well done, Jonah. This has been fantastic, Dr. J from the UK in actually sunny Bristol. I've had to close the blinds to do this video. So, well, good luck to all the coaches in the Nuffle Challenge series, and good luck to all the coaches for season 6. It's going to be a good one. Okay guys, love this video, love you too.